Welcome to South Shore Piano, the official podcast of the South Shore Piano School. I'm your host, Jonathan Roberts, and on this podcast, we talk with students, parents, teachers, and other leaders to find out exactly how music education is changing lives every day. My guest today is the one and only Jad Kyriaki of Weymouth. Jad is 14 years old. He's been taking piano since the age of 6. So 8 years of piano. He's been a regular participant in the Royal Conservatory Music Certificate Program. But Jad has played such a variety of music. It's incredible. Everything from traditional classical music to pop music to improvisation to video game music. You name it, Jad has probably done at least some of it. So I'm so excited to have him on the podcast today. Jad, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
So, Jad, I always like to start these episodes with a fun question that has nothing to do with music or any of this stuff, because this is a fun show. Are you ready?
Yes.
If you could be any animal for 24 hours, which one would you be and why?
Probably a dog, so I could understand why they hate laundry baskets and mailmen.
Wow, that was oddly specific. Have you been waiting for that that question for a while? A dog so that you could understand why they hate laundry and mailmen.
Laundry baskets and the mailman.
Laundry baskets and the mailman. That is one of those questions of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the complexity of that answer. Thank you for playing, Jad. All right, now let's talk about the music stuff. So, Jad, you've been taking for a while. You've been taking lessons for 8 years now. Very exciting stuff. Really excited to dive into how you've lasted this long. But take me back all the way to the beginning. From what you remember, what are some of your earliest memories getting started in music at the tender age of 6?
All right. So when I started piano, my mom saw this 2 free lessons for a coupon for 2 free lessons. I think it's Max Music. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the place. So we took lessons. I took piano, and my brother took the guitar. He dropped that pretty quickly, but I kept up with piano. And yeah, I just never dropped it.
Cool. What do you remember from those first lessons? Was it exciting? Were you a little nervous? What was it like just getting started?
It was a mixture of both, but mostly excited because I'd finally be able to understand how to play the piano we had in our house. I had no clue how to play it.
So you had a piano in your house already?
Yeah.
Do you know how that piano came to be in your house?
No idea.
Okay. It's just a sort of artifact that you grew up with, and now you've learned how to decode it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what do you think sustained you through the first few years? Because as you sort of alluded to, those early years tend to be those sort of make it or break it years. Either we're going to make a thing of this for the long haul, or it's just going to be another activity that we do for a little while and then stop. What do you think it was that sort of sustained you through those early years?
Well, I really enjoyed playing and being able to play different kinds of music and just play whatever I feel like. So that got me going through because I enjoy doing that.
So speaking of favorite sorts of music, what kinds of music do you like to listen to? And what are your favorite musics to play?
For listening, I'll really listen to anything. It doesn't matter, but I mostly kind of chill music, not really anything too hyper. Like rap, I don't really listen to it. Just not country. Just not country.
Okay, so you don't listen to anything then? Or everything but country?
Yeah, everything but country.
Gotcha. Yeah, country, it's one of those people either love it or hate it kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Actually, while we're on that topic, I'm just curious, what is it about country music that you don't like? Or is it one of those indescribable things?
Yeah, it's one of those indescribable things. It's just a random hatred for it.
That's fair. Kind of like people who don't like sherbet ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So inevitably, I mean, you've been taking lessons long enough that you've encountered plenty of these. You could probably be an expert on the subject, but we inevitably reach challenges. I like talking with everybody about this. And we need challenges to get better at piano, to get better at any skill. And what grows our skill is pushing through those challenges and learning through them. But so often, music students will hit those challenges and say, okay, this isn't for me. I don't really want to do this anymore. So how have you handled those challenges? Like you're doing a new piece of music. It's either technically more difficult or it's longer or whatever. How have you handled that to keep going as well as you have?
So if it's a piece of music, what I'll usually do, I'll take a break for it like a week or two, and then I'll get back to learning it because after taking a break, it would feel you'd get that like rush of how fun it is to play that song again. And then it just makes you want to keep going.
Gotcha. So when you hit a challenge, I just want to make sure I understand that right. So you'll work hard on it, step away from it for a bit, and then come back sort of recharged. Do I have that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what sort of brought about your passion for you've played a lot of video game music, probably more video game music than just about any of our other students. What made you so passionate about that kind of music?
I don't know, just something about it. Because like certain games, especially Undertale, have just really good soundtracks. And like something about it is just really nice to me.
Yeah, does it have anything to do with the game itself? Or if you heard this music not in a video game context, do you think you'd like it just as much?
Well, it does have a little bit to do with the game because it brings back, like, if it's a song from a really old game, it kind of feels like nostalgia going back to playing that song. But if it's still a relevant game, then it just feels fun to play it.
Yeah, nostalgia makes me think of the Tetris theme, which I think everybody knows pretty well.
Yeah,
And fun fact, I think Tetris was deemed one of the most addictive video games of all time. I think it was literally designed in a Russian lab. Or I think it came from Russia because that song that everybody knows is actually a Russian folk tune.
that's interesting. Never
Yeah.
knew that.
So that would make sense why we love the music so much. Cool. Now, we've been in this pandemic universe. Hopefully, we're at the tail end of it, but we've been virtual for about 15 months now. You are now on YouTube. You have several performances on YouTube from YouTube recitals and things like that. But what has music meant to you over the course of the pandemic, these past 15 months or so?
Well, to me, music has just been a way to let time pass because without during the pandemic, I really had so much free time and way less things to spend that free time on. So I would play piano for a while, and it just got fun for me,
So music filled the void of the world closing and everything going
pretty
online.
much.
And then how have you enjoyed performing for people virtually as opposed to performing for people live?
Um, to me, I think it's a little bit easier because when you're live, it's just like all that stress. Everyone's watching you. But when you're virtual, you don't see everyone. In Zoom, you only see like the five people at the top, so you can't really see that many people watching you, and it just boosts your confidence a little.
Yeah, that's interesting. It gives the sort of illusion that you're not being watched by 40 people, even
Yeah,
though they are watching. You're just not actually seeing them.
yeah, pretty much.
Now, you're headed off to high school. You're graduating middle school. We're very excited for you. But we're going to blink and you're going to be off to do amazing things on the career path of your choice. But how do you see music fitting in your life as you go on in the adventures of Jad Kiryaki?
Um, well, music, it's just something I've done all my life, and I think it's just something nice to you just to do in general. Nice to pass time, be like a hobby kind of. It would be, and I think it would be really nice if I could keep playing it as I go on later in life.
Your eternal companion.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you think you'll always play video game music?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, let's say there's a young Jad out there that's just getting his start with piano, or some young person listening to this and they're like, I'm not sure if this is for me, kind of a thing. What advice would you give them to have the kind of success that you've had with this music business?
I'd suggest playing songs that you're interested in mainly. That's one of the biggest things. Because if you're playing something you really don't like, you're not going to want to play it. If you don't want to play it, you're just not going to be wanting to play piano as much. So my first bit of advice is to play songs that you'll really like. Another is to constantly practice and just do whatever you feel like kind of on piano. And if you feel like you need to take a break, take a quick break. I mean, could be a day, could be a week, but just remember that just to go back to it really sometime.
So a mix of structure and freedom, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Jad, this has been a really fun conversation just to get into the mind of the one and only Jad Kyriaki about how you sustained yourself, and then just a little bit more about how you've enjoyed music. And hopefully our listeners get a lot out of our conversation today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much to all of our listeners out there. Again, this is South Shore Piano, the official podcast of the South Shore Piano School. I'm your host, Jonathan Roberts, and on this podcast, we talk with students, parents, teachers, and other leaders to find out exactly how music education and the arts are changing lives every day. If you enjoyed this, do hit the subscribe button on the podcasting app of your choice, or if you're checking us out on the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're among the first to find out about new episodes as they're released. We publish new episodes every Monday and Friday. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.